But to tell you the story, it's at the end of 1988. I came to New York with an idea of doing a portrait story of different top models in New York in a very candid way and in a very intimate way, a little bit like a boyfriend would take pictures of their girlfriends. So I went to see Monique Pilar at Elite at the time, who was running the agency. Monique Pilar introduced me to Cindy Crawford, and I had to go to meet her in her apartment. So of course, it was one of my first big shoots. I was pretty intimidated. I did not have a hairdresser. I did not have a makeup artist. I just went with my little. At the time, I had a Nikon F3 shooting black and white pictures. So that was I think I did Estelle, Cindy, and then I did Stephanie Seymore. That was the third one I did. At the time, she was living in the apartment of John Casablanca. She was staying there because she lived between LA and actually between San Diego, La Jolla, and New York. Estelle, it was in her own apartment. Cindy, it was in her own apartment. And most of the girls were in their own apartment, actually, or house. Linda Evangelista, I think it was in her apartment also. Linda, it was much quicker. She was in a rush. I didn't have so much. I mean, I had time, but I had to be very quick, All those pictures were taken roughly between... The time I spent there was from 1 hour to 2 hours max. So I didn't have so much time. Tatiana Patitz, it was in a house in Pacific Palisades in Los Angeles. She loved animals. She loved horses, dogs, obviously, and I think her life is very. She's very involved in the protection and the defense of animals and cruelty against animals and stuff like that. So and actually it was a great shoot with her. I had a lot of fun with her. But Eva Herzigova, so it was not in her apartment. We chose a location because she was coming to New York, but she was more based in Paris. But she came to New York, and I had this friend of mine who had a very kind of bohemian apartment on 64 and Park. And Eva, it's the same. I knew her a little bit from Paris before, so it was very playful. And like Claudia, I started to work with her. I did a cover of French Photo with her. We did a whole series in a studio, and I started to work a lot with Claudia in the early 90s. 91, 92, I did a calendar with her. I did many different little jobs at the time. Many jobs at the time. When she left the job, and we left together, so I took a picture of her in the car after the studio because I thought it was funny, to just the contrast between the sensuality and the sexiness in the studio, and then her like in a coat in a limousine. In the mid 80s, it was all about glamour and big hair and a lot of makeup and so on. So I took the opposite approach to show them really in their most natural way, instead of glamorized like you see them on glossy paper in the magazine,
What does the room say?